camera, right?
So your car is on tape. I don't think anybody meant to kill him that night, but it happened.
We know a lot more than you think we know.
Meet 26-year-old Kenneth Dwayne Hill. Moments ago, Kenneth was caught on camera as he robbed and took the life of innocent Bassem Sulaka, and no matter how much he tries to deny it all.
What is my face? You telling me that's not you? It's felony murder.
Kenneth has no idea that the surveillance footage is only a small glimpse into the kind of evidence stacked up against him. And in this never-before-seen interrogation, detectives will use all of it to put this man away, once and for all.
I can tell you what you did.
We didn't come and get you until we knew the truth.
Just be honest with me. That's all I'm asking you to do.
Around midnight on March 28, 2014, a passerby in Clinton Township, Michigan, noticed three men sprinting away from the Moonlight Party Store and immediately called 911, suspecting a robbery. But when officers arrived, it was clear this was far more than that. Inside the store, behind the counter, they found 51-year-old Bassem Basil Sulaka, shot in the back, who was tragically pronounced dead at the scene. Basil had owned the store for nearly 2 decades. Locals called him Sweet Basil. He was known for helping people, lending money, giving food, and always telling employees the same thing. If you're ever robbed, don't resist, just give them the money. Not only that, but he had survived stage 4 cancer just 4 years earlier and had an appointment scheduled for 3 days later to see if it had returned. Heartbreakingly, that didn't take his life, but 3 masked men did, over nothing more but cash in a register. Officers pulled the store's surveillance footage and found a clear look at their suspects. The cameras captured the entire attack, all 1 minute and 44 seconds of it. 3 masked men entered, jumped the counter, and within 20 seconds of walking through that door, one of them shot Basil in the back with a 9mm handgun. Then, while he was on the ground, one of them assaulted him as the 2 others emptied the register. Officers extracted several still images and released them to the public, hoping someone could identify the men behind the masks. Within weeks, tips flooded in. Most of them pointed to the same group: 24-year-old Clinton Rayshawn Grayson, 24-year-old Darius Gaskin, and 26-year-old Jomar Robinson. But there was a 4th man, one the outside cameras caught sitting in a tan Buick with a loud exhaust, parked on the street just north of the store: the getaway driver, 26-year-old Kenneth Hill. And he'd be the first one brought in for questioning, because if you've watched any interrogations, you'd know the getaway driver is the weakest link.
Speaking of guns, you know why you're here, right?
No, sir.
Okay. You're under arrest for robbery, felony murder. Okay. You know what that's about, right?
No.
You have no idea?
No, sir.
You have no idea why you would be charged with that.
No, sir. I was just woke up. I was just in my bed.
Okay. I'm not talking about something that happened recently. I'm talking about, to be honest with you, I'm talking about the robbery at Moonlight Party Store.
Well,
Moonlight Party Store, 14 in Harper. You never even heard of it? Okay, it's been all over the paper. Okay, all over the news. Okay,
I seen on the news, but
right. Well, you know what I seen? This is what I seen, Kenneth. I seen video of you guys leaving your apartment just before the robbery, and you know who I'm talking about, right?
no, sir.
Okay, talking about Clinton. I'm talking about
Yes.
Diaz Gaskin, your buddy. What's his first name there? Darius.
I don't get it.
Okay, well, hold on. Those guys are all, including you, leaving your apartment just before the robbery. Okay. You guys are coming back in a hurry right after the robbery. And guess what those guys are wearing?
What?
All the same clothes involved in the robbery. And guess whose car was down at the robbery?
Who?
Your same Buick with the loud exhaust.
They got them cars, man. Hey, Kenneth. Listen, we've been very nice. We talked to you.
I get what you're saying, though.
Right.
Here's a little.
I got nothing to do with that. See what I'm saying?
To a certain extent, correct.
I know. Go ahead.
Okay. To a certain extent, you don't have nothing to do with what happened, correct? Understand that we know a lot more than you think we know, okay? What I want from you now is to be man to man and talk to me, okay? Let's talk about what happened that night. You know what happened that night. You're exactly right. You don't know exactly what
I
happened.
don't know what happened, But you say you got me on video, but do you got me video doing something?
We got you on video leaving your apartment with the guys involved in the robbery.
But what they got to do with me though?
Because you drove them down.
How I drove them down there?
You tell me.
It can.
Possible, sir.
This is, Kenneth, look at, this is your chance to tell me your side of the story, okay? I don't, somebody was killed on there. I truly believe you're not the one who pulled the trigger. I can believe that, all right? But the problem is, all the people involved are charged because somebody died, okay? Now, if you had this much to do with it, that's what I need to know, right? Because at the end of the day, everybody's being charged with murder, okay? You've got 2 kids, you're a smart guy, you've got some education, you've got a trade and stuff like that. Just because you drove a car doesn't mean, you need to throw your whole rest of your life away, okay? But if you're telling me you weren't involved and you tell me you don't know anything happened, I can't help you out, you know what I mean? So this is your chance to tell me your side of the story. We know what happened, okay? I told you we're doing Lotus. We're bringing in Clinton after this, right? We're bringing in Darius after that, okay? We're bringing in some more people and stuff like that. You're the first person here, okay? Because I truly believe in the big scheme of things, you have the smallest involvement, okay? But if you're going to tell me you know nothing about it and stuff like that, I can't do anything for you. I can't help you. And I'm not saying I can make any promises, but if you tell me what really happened, you know what I mean? It paints the truth of what the whole picture is and stuff like that. And if you told me you didn't pull the trigger, I would believe you that. I would believe that. But to tell me you're not involved at all and you don't know anything about it, Kenneth, I'm telling you right now, that's not true.
I might get a lawyer then. I ain't got nothing to do with that.
You don't have nothing to do with the pulling of the trigger, correct?
Pull the trigger.
Okay. That's,
I got nothing to do with it.
and that's what the detective just explained to you, that we know.
But you can't put me there at the scene though, pulling the trigger or whatever y'all telling me.
Let me stop you for a minute, okay? I can tell you what you did. You pulled down onto the street just north of there, correct? And then you did it, you're on the south side of the street, you made it, now, I know this, remember I told
Can
you?
you pull me in the car?
Listen to me.
Will you tell us, Ken?
Can you pull me? Like, you saying like you trying to say I was there, but I wasn't there.
You tell us what happened.
We're asking you what
I
happened.
don't know, sir. I can't. I'm speaking for myself, so I got nothing to do with that.
What did, you guys came back to the apartment, okay, right
I
after?
don't mean nothing.
You want me to tell you why I know that you were there? It's because when you came back, you opened the door. You're the first person to the door. You put the key in the door and you turned it. You opened the door and everybody went inside. We know you weren't the one that pulled the trigger. You shouldn't take the rap for somebody that did what somebody else's actions did.
Kenneth wasn't the one who walked into that store, since this knucklehead was the getaway driver, waiting to make sure that he could escape with the 3 others who did rob Basil. But under Michigan's felony murder law, it doesn't matter. If someone dies during the commission of a felony, everyone involved is on the hook, including the driver. And as the detectives would soon reveal, this wasn't even the first time Kenneth had been behind the wheel for one of these.
You were inside there. You don't know what happened, right?
No, sir.
Okay, so then why should you take the heat from what else somebody else did? You weren't inside there, so right? I mean, I'm asking you. You were inside there, correct?
No.
Okay. You were in the car. You had no idea what they did inside, right? So when they came back to the car, what did they say something to you, or what happened? That's what I'm asking you, because we're being honest with you. There's no hiding, nothing like that, no lies. We're asking you the simple truth. That's what I want to know.
The picture from both.
Yes. We're not hiding anything. We're coming from man to man and talk to you about what's going on, okay?
There's a reason why, Ken, this has taken so long to put together, because we had to get everything in line, okay? So we didn't rush the things, we didn't come and get you right away until we knew the truth about everything else that happened.
Remember that? Just be honest with me. That's all I'm asking you to do. And you know why you're here first, right? Because we knew you were inside the store.
Where's my face?
You telling me that's not you?
No.
Really, somebody's breaking into your apartment then, right? Clinton's breaking into your apartment? Really? We can play games back and forth, Kenneth. Hey, this is your chance to tell me your side of the story, right? If you want to just, be lumped in with everybody else and stuff like that, take a shot at a jury trial, that's up to you, okay? But understand, all together, collectively, it's felony murder. Now, we're not here to make deals, we're not here to make promises.
Before picking Kenneth up, detectives had spent weeks putting this together. CCTV from the guard shack at his apartment complex captured him leaving at 11:16 p.m. that night. Hallway cameras caught the group leaving before the robbery and returning after, still wearing the same clothes from the store footage. And when Kenneth pulled onto the residential street north of the Moonlight, he went up on a curb to U-turn, leaving tire impressions in the mud that matched right back to his Buick.
I'm giving you the opportunity to tell me your side of the story. Okay. If you don't want to do that, that's fine, but I gotta tell you, this is what you're looking at. You're looking at felony murder.
This is your chance, okay? Let's be honest, Kenneth, okay? Let me go to the prosecutor and tell them that you can cooperate and you're honest. Give me that opportunity to let them know that. You know what I'm saying? Let me tell them, hey, this guy was the least involved, but he was honest and he cooperated with us. Okay?
I'm being honest, cooperating, but
this isn't all we got. So we're being completely straightforward with you. Okay? Just be honest with us. And we know when you're being honest. Remember in the very beginning I said to you, we already know a lot of the answers to the questions that we asked you.
yes, sir.
And that's kind of how we know if you're being honest. Okay? Don't throw your life down the drain because of somebody else's actions. You've got 2 kids, correct?
Right, sir.
You need to look out for those kids, right?
Yes, sir.
You love them dearly, right? Okay. You think about your kids. Don't worry about these people, because you know what these people do? They don't care about you either. You may think so, and I know you grew up with Clinton, right? You guys grew up down in Buckingham area together. You guys know each other pretty well?
That's my grandma's street.
Right. But you've known Clinton for a while, haven't you? But you need to look out for you and your kids right now.
I hope you don't love Clinton more than those kids.
You see what I'm saying? I'm being straight honest and forward with you. Be with me. We know more than you think we know. And that's why we brought you in here first, because we think you are the least involved. Okay? We're giving you the opportunity first. You see what I'm saying? You went to college. You're a good person. You're trying to find a job. You're trying to make something of your life.
You got no criminal history, Ken. It's not like you robbed people before, I'm sure you're not the one who masterminded this whole thing, right?
He's right about that. The mastermind was Kenneth's own cousin, Clinton Grayson. Clinton had been identified by police in approximately 6 armed robberies across the area. He had a prior record, and the Moonlight wasn't close to his first job. Kenneth, on the other hand, had never been arrested, never been to jail, hadn't so much as picked up a real traffic ticket in 7 years, at least until now.
Well, I know you're involved.
I know you're involved.
That's why you're being charged.
That's why we're not beating behind the bush. We're not hiding my bush. We're coming straight on and moving forward with you about it. But I don't want to see you have the opportunity now to talk about it and get it off your shoulders. So I'll bet you, I guarantee you, since last month, it's been sitting on your shoulders and weighing on you. And you've wanted to talk about it and get it off your shoulders. Because that's the kind of guy you are. You've got kids. You've got a girlfriend that you care a lot about. And this has been sitting on your shoulders, and I know it has. I've talked to a lot of people over a lot of years that have been involved in things. And a lot of people, once they talk about it and get it off their shoulders, it's a big relief. It's like holding your breath for 5 minutes and then just and letting it out. And I think that's where you're at right now, because you're trying to think about what's best for you and your kids. And that's what you should be thinking about. I have kids. And I'll be darned if I'm going to ruin the opportunity to spend time with my kids because of somebody else's actions. That's the last thing you want to do. And that's why, like I told you before, we brought you in here first, because we believe you're the least involved. You see what I'm saying? And you're a good person. What's that?
I get what you're saying, but I don't do with that.
Well, you do have something.
Got nothing to do with what? When you say you got nothing to do with
What you just talking about right now? What you just told me?
But you know exactly what we're talking about.
Said somebody died here, so.
You didn't kill that person, you're correct. You are absolutely
I ain't got nothing,
correct.
I never killed nobody in my life. I can tell you that.
I believe you.
I've been a good person all my life. You know, staying out of trouble, never been locked up, never been in jail. Got pulled over twice for, you know, speed ticket for 7 years, you know. Other than this.
You honestly got roped into something you didn't really want to be involved in, didn't you? Isn't that what happened? Just be honest with me, Kenneth. That's all I'm asking from you.
This is your chance, Kenneth. When we talk to other people, and they talk, right?
So you say it one more time?
When we talk to other people, we're gonna talk to Clinton, we're gonna talk to Darius, we're gonna talk to a couple more people, you know? When it's all said and done, and you miss this opportunity, you know, we can't go back and help you. We can't go back and put your side of the story after we've already talked. You know what I mean? This is your chance. I know if I did this much, and I'm getting charged with this, I want people to know the truth.
Okay, let me ask you this. Do you want me to be honest with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then don't beat around the bush with me, because I know you know the answer. She turned in some lottery tickets that were stolen from a robbery. Okay? Now she's part of it.
Why you feel part of it?
Because she took property that was stolen in a robbery.
She probably didn't know. We did not know.
Well, who gave you the tickets?
We had got them off the street. You know? People were stealing tickets, so we got scammed, and we took to the store, and she said the ticket was no good. You know, we got scammed.
They most definitely didn't get scammed because they never bought the tickets. Kenneth's girlfriend Charlotte was caught on camera cashing in lottery tickets at a party store, tickets that were stolen during a completely different robbery committed by Clinton. Kenneth tries to play it off like they bought them off the street and got scammed, but the detectives know exactly where those tickets came from. And they're about to use it to pressure him further, because now his girlfriend is wrapped up in this too, and Kenneth is desperately using her to try and steer the conversation away from what happened at the Moonlight.
You want me to be honest with you, correct?
Yeah.
I'm laying it out what I have, okay? But you need to stop right now, okay? And be honest, because you're trying right now to try to minimize your involvement in in this incident, okay? What's going on with all this stuff? That's your baby's mom, correct?
Yes, sir.
She's involved in this now, okay? She is now receiving and stealing stolen property.
Me and her ain't got nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? Well, we got a ticket from somebody who was selling a whole bunch of tickets, so.
Let me ask you something, okay? Your car was seen leaving the street north of the party store on Moonlight.
What?
Where the robbery was on Moonlight and 14 Mile and Harper, your car was seen leaving there. We've been doing surveillance on you for a long time. You're the only person that drives your car. Understand that. We've been watching you. I told you we have a lot of stuff on you already, okay? And I'm being honest with you. You're the only person that drives your car. Your car was seen on the street north of there. You pulled on the south side of the street. You did a U-turn. Remember when you went up into the driveway, you made a U-turn? And then you parked on the one side of the street, and then they got out and walked over to the store. Guess what you did when you pulled up on the driveway area there? You went up on the grass and the mud.
You said what?
Do you remember when you pulled up into the driveway and turned around to go on the other side of the street?
And what'd you say the last part?
And you went up on that curb, and it was like grassy and kind of mud right there. You kind of went up on the curb a little bit and turned around. Do you know what you left right there?
What?
Well, let me ask you, what do you think you left? If you went up on the curb and there was some muddy stuff and grass and stuff like that. You ever hear the word tire impressions?
What?
Tire impressions?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You left tire impressions there. Okay? And guess what those are going to match up to? Kenneth Hill's Buick.
My tire, right?
Correct. I have a lot more than you think, don't I?
You can say that. Y'all doing y'all job, so.
You're right, I am doing my job. Absolutely. Okay? Your car's here. Your car is at the robbery on the street north of there, of the party store. You're the only person that drives your car. We know that.
You drive my car.
No, we know.
We
know. We've been watching you for longer than you think, man. So I know that you're the only person that drives your car.
Everybody drives my car.
Name somebody that drives your car.
I got family members, my auntie.
Okay, did your auntie
They
drive your
weren't
car?
driving it that night of the robbery.
No.
No,
I'm saying everybody drives my car, period, you know.
Sure, right. But they're not leaving Lotus before the robbery, and they're not leaving with Clinton and Darius, and they're not getting in your car, and they're not coming right back after it wearing the same stuff in the video of the robbery. Well, it ain't your auntie driving that car that night, it's you.
No, I'm just saying, I ain't trying to say up for the air, I'm saying anybody got in my car. You know
But I'm talking about this night, it wasn't them that night.
You know the guard shack sitting right in the front?
You say, what's that?
The guard shack that sits right there in the front of Lotus?
What?
The shack, you know, when you pull in the Lotus, there's a guard shack right there? Okay, do you know what's sitting right there in the guard shack?
There's a camera right there.
There's a camera. You know where that camera points? Right into the cars. Okay?
I mean, I go back and forth, you know, I leave out the house back and forth.
I'm talking about this night. I'm talking about this night.
At 11:16, you drove past the guard shack. 11:16, I think it was 22 seconds. Okay? That night, you did drive past the guard shack, you're correct. Do you see what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
Okay. Nobody was driving your car but you. Why do you think that? Look at these pictures. You see what these have on them? Well, what was this one? The stamp. State Police enhancements, right? All these pictures are enhanced. So when you drove past the guard shack, and you obviously know there's a camera right there.
I understand.
Okay? There was cameras in the hallway of Lotus when you came back. Who's that? I gotta step off for a second.
You know who that is, and we know who it is. And he's coming in next.
You know who it is, then why y'all come after me?
Because you were involved also. I'm sure you didn't intend it to go down that way. But it did, unfortunately. Unfortunately for everybody. Unfortunately for you, unfortunately for them, and especially unfortunately for the guy who died. And I don't think anybody meant to kill him that night, but it happened.
I feel sorry for him, man, you know.
So do we. We feel sorry for him, for his family,
his
kids.
Daughters, you know. Any man out lost their kids,
right.
You know.
Right.
I didn't know nothing about that, you know.
That's what I'm saying, Ken. I know you know what we're talking about, because you already know about his kids, about his family. So at the beginning you were saying, I don't even know what you're talking about, right? I don't.
No, I didn't know until when y'all broke it down, then, you know, I realized, you have to put me in for the kids.
All we gotta do is put you in the car, Ken. We've already done that.
But I ain't pull the trigger,
I know you didn't pull the trigger. I truly believe that, Ken.
It's hard to believe Kenneth had no idea what happened that night, considering the case had been all over the news for weeks. Vigils outside the store with over 300 people, a $15,000 Crime Stoppers reward, Basil's family on camera, begging for answers. Basil was so loved by the community he lived in that his death had shaken the entire community to its core. So for Kenneth, who was living a mile away from the store, could he really not have watched any news or coverage related to this for over a month?
Well, this is your opportunity to tell me your side of the story, how it was all set up, what they told you, right? If they give you $100 to drive the car, I can understand that. But that doesn't mean, right, you weren't involved. You know, I guarantee you.
I'm not desperate, you know what I'm saying? I have my own money, you know what I'm saying? This type of stuff I would not do, you know?
But they would, and they did. And they got you involved in it. They got you involved, Ken. It's not fair to you. For driving a car, you're looking at felony murder. That's not fair to you, right?
I'm looking at felony.
Anybody involved in that, in the commission of a felony and somebody dies, okay, the felony is the robbery. Okay, so anybody involved in the robbery, including the driver, is charged with the felony and somebody died during that felony, that's felony murder. It's not a burglary, Ken. It's not a misdemeanor. That's a life felony.
All right, man, I'm gonna go on the limb and say you might want one of these, huh?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks.
I thought maybe. Kind of coming around, understanding a little more now.
Well, I mean, you know, he knows what we're talking about. He feels bad for his family, right? The guy's family and, you know, his kids, the victims.
Do you have a little tell who that was? Tell me who that was?
You said what, sir?
Who this is?
Huh?
Do you know who this is? I think you already
He knows
know.
who it is.
I know who it is, because that person will be talking to me shortly. Gaskin's been locked up already. We just got Gaskin. Darius?
You said what?
Darius has just been locked up.
He's under arrest right now.
Gary?
Darius?
Gary?
Yep, and and Clinton's
I don't know
next.
about that name.
And you know Clinton's next, and then Joe Mar's coming in after him.
I have a family name, Clay.
You know Clinton.
We know who
You
Clinton
know who
is.
Clint Grayson is. You know who Clint Grayson is.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have his full picture here. Yeah, you know Clint, he grew up here, crap, you grew up in the same neighborhood.
I know, so.
He's the only person you know. Then you know who this is, correct? I'm gonna talk to everybody, Ken, okay, understand this.
Can I get a lawyer, like, because I'm defending myself, I need to fight for myself, I'm not fighting for anybody else, because got nothing to do with that, you know. I have two little girls I gotta look after, you know what I'm saying? It's too tough, it's tough.
Are you, okay, yes, you have a right to a lawyer, okay? Just like we went over in the very beginning. And just like we explained to you, we want to give you the opportunity to talk to us, okay? If you have a right to a lawyer, if you want a lawyer, that's fine. But then we're gonna stop talking to you, and then you're not gonna have an opportunity to talk to us anymore.
Probably the only smart thing to come out of this man's mouth is that he wants a lawyer. But that single brain cell he used to say that is about to backflip into a pit of fire, because he changes his mind moments later, coming back to the interrogation room as he decides to tell detectives everything.
We just left here, right, because you said you wanted an attorney, right, Ken? Go ahead. Right? Is that correct? And you said you wanted an attorney, and I stopped talking, and I haven't asked you any questions, right? Is that correct? Okay. We took you back to booking, right? To the booking, the cells and stuff like that. When we were back there, you said you wanted to continue talking. Is that right? Okay. I need to know for sure now. I haven't asked you any questions. I haven't prompted you to continue talking. Nothing like that, right? That you told me you want to continue talking, right? Is that fair?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I haven't promised you anything, right? You thought about it and you said you wanted to keep talking, but I haven't asked you anything since we left and you said you wanted an attorney, correct?
Yes,
okay. Do you want to keep talking to us?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, you know, we've already talked a little bit at the very beginning, right? I told you all the stuff, but not all the stuff. Let me get you a couple more. You know, use it. Yeah, I'll bet that'll go off. There you go.
You don't think?
I know heavy smoke, so I don't call.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, sir.
I guess let's not beat around the bush. Okay. Tell us what happened. I'm just gonna come, you tell me what happened, okay? I know. Start off, I mean, who were you with at your apartment that day? Because I've already showed you the pictures, some of the pictures, I've already showed you, you know, some of the stuff we have. You know, technology, how it is. So you explain to me what happened. You guys met at the apartment, did you guys meet at the apartment, or everybody come over, or was everybody there already? How did it work?
Yeah, it came over my apartment.
Okay. And then what happened?
Just walk us through the beginning, Ken. How did it all start?
Who you said they? Who was they?
Well, I know my cousin, but I know the other two, you know, so.
You knew your cousin?
His family.
His family? Who was that?
Their real names, so.
Okay. Who's your cousin?
Clint Grayson.
Clint Grayson. So he was there. Who else was there?
His two kids. They got nicknames. I didn't know one of their real names.
What do they call them? What's their nicknames?
Buck and, Guy.
Buck and Guy?
Yeah.
Who's the short one?
Who's what?
Who's the short one?
That's, Buck.
Buck?
Guy was later identified as Jomar and Buck was Darius.
So you're at your apartment, right? What happens? Who brings it up? Whose idea was it?
I don't know who idea was it, but
Who got you guys all together, I guess?
I was just listening, you know.
Okay. All right. So what was said?
So we, you know, I was playing a game, they was talking, whatever. You know, I'm hard to hear, so I hear everything, so it's like, let's go for a ride. I was all right. They tell me where to go, they were talking about you. Let's see something real quick.
Where did they tell you to go?
They was gonna, you know, rob the store or whatever. I didn't know who that doing, so.
Okay. But when you left the apartment, you knew they were gonna go rob a store.
They said they was gonna look for something, but
You said look for something?
yeah, like look around, so they told me, you know.
So they didn't, there was no set place to go to in the beginning, so they were just gonna drive around and find somewhere? Okay. Okay, so then what happened? You guys, all four of you left together?
Met up with them, so. They had another car, you know.
What car did they have, Ken?
It was a Taurus, all black Taurus.
Taurus?
Taurus, yeah.
Whose car was that?
I think one of the guys' car, I don't know. So,
Okay.
run around, you know, nervous, I'm like, yeah, think about it. Talk about it, you know. I said, tell you right back. That store,
What store was that?
14 Harp. So, come over there, and park. And I see them running and shit. I'm like, what happened? What happened to y'all too? Like, I'm like, okay. I'm back to the house. I'm like, yeah, that's when I saw the news. The next day, I feel bad,
Because you're a decent guy. That's why you felt bad.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
Did they talk about how it happened?
No.
What did they say? I mean, they had to say out of.
I heard, you know, I'm hard of hearing, they was all yelling, I'm mad, my mind racing, I'm like, you know, I'm nervous, you know. I'm trying to do it right, you know. Everybody went their separate ways.
After the robbery, you guys all came back to your place, right? Okay, then what happened?
They left.
Not right away, though.
They stayed there, but they left, you know, but.
Eventually they left. How long?
Okay, so the four of you are in the car. You guys leave, right? You said that they told you just to drive?
Yeah.
Okay, just go over one more quick with me one more time. Can I, just be, I can't,
No, they was telling me to drive, but,
Okay.
you know, so.
Right.
Turn around, you know, it's the store, they like the store, I turn right here, I'm like, okay. Park, they went in, I came out, they told me go. Went back to my house. You know, they was in another room talking, so.
who was in the other room talking?
Just 3 persons.
All three? Your cousin Clinton, Buck, did you call him, right?
Yeah.
And what is the other, Buck and,
God.
what kind of gun did Clinton have?
I don't know. I don't know what kind of gun he had. I know he got his own GPL. He has a license.
They probably,
that one used, you know.
but they pull him out the car to get him ready to go.
What you mean?
They have him in the car, correct?
They had with them.
They have the car, okay. Whose did you see?
I see them gun.
You didn't see any guns?
They just came out. Of course, you know.
I mean, you've seen Clinton's gun before.
Yeah, I think
You know which one it is.
his license gun.
Mm-hmm. Which one is that?
He got 45.
45?
Kenneth confirms Clinton carried a licensed .45 semi-automatic. At trial, it was established that Darius Diaz Gaskin was the one who actually pulled the trigger with a 9mm. His defense was that he was trying to hit Basil with the gun but didn't know his finger was on the trigger and thought the safety was on. But that version didn't match the evidence. Basil was shot in the back, and CCTV footage shows Darius moving, raising the gun, and aiming before firing. That's not an accident, no matter how hard it's tried to be painted as one.
When they opened, take me to your house. You guys get in there. Did you open the door to get in, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that was you that opened the door to go back inside. You went up inside. What happened? Just take me through right then. Because you guys had this red bag that you described.
They went in here and talked. Smoking a cigarette, going crazy.
What were they talking? I mean, they must have been pretty excited because shit just happened and, you know.
I wonder they was pissed off for what happened.
So what were they saying? What kind of
I
thing?
hear though, you know.
I mean, you know, they were pissed off. How could you tell they were pissed off? Go ahead.
I can tell by his face.
You can tell they're pissed off, and I mean they're pretty loud. Right?
Expression. Yeah.
Okay. What did they say? What did you hear?
I just hear them yelling back and forth.
They mad at each other? Okay. What could you hear them saying?
I don't hear them. They're in another room. You know, I can't hear that good stuff. I have to be close, like I'm close to you.
Right.
You know, so.
Were they in your bedroom? Is your place a 2-bedroom or 1-bedroom? It's 1 bedroom. So they were in your bedroom then? Okay. When did they come and talk to you? Where was the orange bag? Let me go back. Where was the orange bag?
Orange bag?
Yeah.
Took it with them. Took everything with them.
How much, when they split the money, how much money was there?
I don't know.
They didn't give you anything?
They only gave you how much?
They gave you something. You were driving.
They gave me some gas money.
Gas
How much?
You shouldn't be.
Hey, they threw my tank up, you know. They don't know.
So maybe
$40.
50, 40, 50 bucks?
Cause they
Well, I'm sorry, I thought you said it. You said a
it.
number they gave you how much?
Like $30, $40.
$30, $40. Okay.
Yeah,
And you said the reason for that was because, why did they only give you 40 or 50?
cause I ain't had gas in my car.
Okay, all right. But what did they say? You said something.
What you mean?
You said they only gave me 40 or 50 because.
Gas and things.
Right. But you said because they didn't get much? Is that what they told you?
That's what I heard.
Okay.
We didn't get much. That's when they came out. We didn't get much. Just ignoring. They changed. They left.
The total take from the robbery, by the suspect's own account, was not much. They each walked away with roughly $200. That's what a person's life was reduced to, and for that amount, they will now spend the rest of their lives in prison.
So I'm guessing they didn't go in there, you know, wanting to shoot the guy, right? So they must have been yelling about who shot him, right? Who were they yelling at?
They was yelling at each other. They was all yelling at each other.
Right.
You know, like I said again, you know, hard hearing, you know, all yelling.
Yeah. But you could tell who. I thought.
Yeah.
Who? You tell me who. Who was it? Based on what you know.
I think they blame each other. I don't know. I wasn't here.
Right. But what do you know?
All I know, I heard, a shot. Ain't get much. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
But I'm saying is,
I don't know who shot, I don't know.
but they must have been yelling at each other about who shot.
They want to
Like, why, you know?
They want to talk about, try to just mad each other, I guess, the plan and go with it with them.
So they must have been pretty pissed when that happened, because it wasn't the first one they've ever done. You know what I mean? They've done before, right? And nobody got shot before, right?
What do you mean?
All the other robberies they did, nobody got shot, so they must have been pretty pissed. No, I'm saying, but, you know, I mean, you know they've done other robberies, right? They talked about it and stuff like that, right? You know what I'm saying? You know, this wasn't the first robbery they did, but this was probably the first robbery where somebody got killed, right?
This I know.
Okay.
And then they, you know, the other I don't know. So.
Okay, well, I can tell you from all the videos we've seen, it wasn't their first robbery. Okay? Clinton's picture is in about 6 robberies. Okay? It's Clinton. We've already sent it off to the lab. Okay? We've already done facial recognition with cheekbone. You know how his nose is kind of flared and stuff like that. It's him. We know it's him. That's why we showed you, because I want to know if you're going to be honest or not. Okay? But that's about the 6th robbery he's done. Okay? Now, I ain't saying you were involved in all of those, right?
You said, yeah, you did just robbery. That's my favorite. I don't know why he did all.
And I'll let you look at those pictures, you know what I'm saying? And this is why it's important for me to get the truth from you, because I don't want somebody coming in and saying, you were the driver in all of these, right? That's why I said, when I was being honest, when I said, I truly believe you, you know what I mean? If I put you on a polygraph, you know what a polygraph is, and you told me all I did was drive that car, right? Shit got up. We left my apartment. We were going to rob a place. We found a spot, right? They robbed it, and I sat in the car, and we drove back to my apartment and stuff. I would believe you. I have no doubts that's probably what happened, okay? Right? That's why it's important. I don't want all this other shit coming in, and then somebody saying, you know what I mean? You planned it, you did this, you did that, stuff like that. Because I'm telling you, when it's all said and done, there's about 6 robberies that they were involved in, okay?
The Moonlight wasn't Clinton's first robbery, and it wasn't the first one Kenneth drove for either. The detectives want to know which ones Kenneth was involved in, because if he doesn't come clean now, someone else will pin him to all 6.
Now, we talked a little bit, Ken, about some of the other robberies, okay?
I don't know about that.
Now, some of the robberies,
There's one, let me, I guess let's go. The ones that I believe you, the one where your car was seen, and that was the Royal Oak one. Okay. Who was with you on that one?
You said what's that?
The one in Royal Oak, the robbery in Royal Oak, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, about one there.
you didn't drive them on that one?
Because your car was there, you know, it's on camera, right?
You said what?
Your car was, it's on video.
You said my car at 14 mile car.
No, we're all done talking about that.
I'm talking about, you and I talked a little bit about the other robberies. Clinton's done it. Right, Clinton's done a bunch of other robberies. Now, we're just trying to clear those up. I just want to know if they had you drive them to the store on some other ones. Because like Brian said, your car is on tape, right? And any phones? Do you want to go there?
There's some other ways of technology that you know about, I'm sure, that we've kind of tied people to certain places, okay? That's why I asked you about the Royal Oak one, because your car was seen there. I don't think you went inside on that one either, did you?
No.
Okay.
You just drove?
Just drove?
He drove my car.
Who did?
Clinton.
Clinton drove? Where were you at? Were you inside the store? Were you in the passenger seat? Where were you at?
I was in the car.
You were in the car?
He drove, you know.
So he drove your car?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Correct? Okay. Whose car were you in? It was your car, correct? Okay. And who went inside? So it was you, let me get it right, you?
I didn't go in.
Okay.
It was looking, Clinton.
Buck and Clinton went inside. Where were you at?
I was in the car.
In your car? Okay. You were in the driver's seat of the car, correct? Okay, so you were in the driver's seat of the car. These are the pictures from the Madison Heights one. Who is that?
Just Clinton.
That's Clinton? Okay.
Who's that?
That's the same thing, Clinton? Okay. Okay. Whose gun is that one?
I'm not sure it could be him or, but
Because that was used a lot, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
But
That's Buck, who you described as the person that was arrested with Clinton the next day after the shooting, wearing the Nike
yes,
shirt.
yes.
Okay. That's the same person.
Mhm.
So these two went in the store and you remained in the car.
Mhm.
Okay.
Why is he driving your car?
No, he said he was driving.
Oh, you were
He
driving?
was driving.
Because at first you said he was
Right.
driving. I wasn't sure.
Ain't nobody
Okay.
gripping.
I just want to make sure.
Nobody's gripping your-
Right,
I'm not driving this car.
Right, exactly. I just want to make sure we're not, yeah.
So that's in Madison Heights.
That's the John R. one, right?
Correct, that's in John. So they went inside, you stayed in the car, okay. There's one that happened at the Captain's, you know what Captain's is, right? That's right by your house there. It's the one that's off of, North River Road, it's kind of by Total Sports. Okay. You guys used your car on that one, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I see you coming into the shack, by the shack there. Were you driving in that one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're driving on that one?
What was taken in that one?
Mhm.
What was taken during that one? Do you remember?
Money and Hennessy.
How big was that bottle? Real big. Now, that's not the same bottle you had. Who's got that big bottle?
I mean,
The one you took?
we had something, you know, when he took it from the store.
Okay. Anyway, keep that bottle. Because I mean, that's a nice bottle. That's, how big is that bottle? How big was that?
Like $50 boys, like
Gallon?
close to it, yeah.
How much that bottle cost about, what'd you think?
$60.
$60.
Who was with you on that one?
Him. It was just him by himself.
Who's him?
Clinton.
Okay. So this is just you and Clinton? You just drove Clinton there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Did he do anything before that? What made him decide to do that store?
When nobody there.
And how did he know that?
When nobody in the parking lot.
Let me ask you this one. I guess, how can I say this? Before that robbery happened, let's say 15, 20 minutes before that, what was Clinton doing then?
Alright.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Right, yeah, I need some money, I need some money, I need some money. Him to the store, like chill out. Like to the store. Went to the store. He went in himself. And back out. So back to my house.
Is this when he robbed the store, or is this before or
It
after?
was before.
Before.
We robbed the store stuff.
So,
The store.
you took him to the store,
Mm-hmm.
to the Captain's? You know what Captain's you're talking about, right?
We went up 94 by the freeway.
Yep. So you drove him to the store. What did he do then? Where did you park?
Like an apartment. On the other side.
So that you couldn't see your car? Okay, so you parked over on the other side. He went over there? Was he by himself or was he with somebody else?
By himself.
Okay. And what did you see? How long was he gone?
It's been a while. It's probably like 2 months ago.
No, I'm saying how long was he gone from when he left your car?
How long did it take?
Come on, that one was like 1 minute, 2 minutes.
What was he wearing then, do you remember?
Black, on black.
Okay. And then he came back to your car by himself or with somebody else?
By himself.
Okay. And then what happened?
Went back to my house and
Well, how'd the conversation go then?
somebody picked him up, so I stayed at my house. So he left. So we stayed at the house about 15, 20 minutes, and somebody came down and he left.
Okay. This is the Royal Oak. Do you know where the Royal Oak one as compared was to the Madison Heights one?
All I remember was Madison Heights.
And how do you know Madison Heights? Because of what street it was on? What street was that?
John R.
Okay, John R. I just wanna make sure, keeping them track,
And then, just to clarify, John R. and Madison Heights was the one where you said this is Buck with the Jordan shirt on with all the, is it red or orange or?
Wait.
It's more red, okay, in this picture. So that's, I just wanna clarify, so that was your cousin Clinton and Buck were on that one, and you were the driver on that one. Okay. You remember the Royal Oak one that happened on the 4th?
Let me ask you this, do you remember other ones that you just drove at?
No.
Cause it's hard to keep track, I can tell you a city, and like.
I want to make sure we,
Right, sure.
Absolutely, and I wanna make sure
I
that,
like to repeat it back.
Sure, sure.
that's why I just did that with you, because I wanna confirm that
Right.
we're not,
What other ones were you just a driver at? Cause I don't wanna like a city and you think I'm talking about something else, but it was actually this. You did John R., right?
Madison Heights.
Okay.
What's that, Clinton Township?
Where Captain's is at?
Cafe and 14 Harper.
And 14 and Hopper. What about any other ones where you just drove? Just the ones you drove at? Anything out, where Madison Heights is at, right? John R., right?
What's that, 12 miles?
Okay. Anything else in that area? You sure? Nothing's gonna come back and we do some technical stuff, you know what I'm saying? That's gonna show you in that area? You know what I mean?
the Detroit Metro PCS, did you drive Clinton over to that one at all? No, do you know who was involved in that one?
Yeah, he had his own car, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But, my car, I had to show him, everything was right. So, figured I won't get pulled over.
Right, you were straight, right, that's why. Right, no warrants and stuff like that.
This wasn't Kenneth's first time collaborating with Clinton. He admits to driving for at least 3 other robberies, one in Madison Heights, and one at a store called Captain's near I-94, and one in Royal Oak area. The reason Clinton kept coming back to Kenneth's car was simple. Kenneth's record was clean. He had never gotten in trouble with the law, so if they got pulled over, nobody would look twice. But the Moonlight was the only time things escalated to the point where somebody died.
Let me just go right. The Moonlight, you were the driver, correct?
Yes, sir.
14 and Harper.
14 and Harper. Moonlight, you were the driver, and you were with your cousin Clinton. You were with Buck, correct?
Huh?
You said Buck is his name?
On your picture, right?
Yes.
The one who was arrested the day after at your apartment.
What store is that? That's across the street from next door to Seco gas station?
No.
This shooting.
The one where the guy got shot, 14 and Harper.
And then you was Clinton, Buck, and
Guy.
Captains you drove.
Captain's is the one near 94.
Yeah.
The driver, and who was with you on that one? Who was the one that went inside and robbed that store?
Myself, Clinton.
You remember what was taken in that one?
Some of the Hennessy.
Oh, that's right.
So that's those two. And then you said the Madison Heights one, correct? Anybody thought about getting rid of the guns at all?
What do you think happened to those guns? Think they kept them?
I was you, a lot of people get rid of it.
How do they get rid of it?
Either they sell it or throw it away somewhere, I don't know. I wasn't with them when they got it.
And I'm not saying you were, but you're a smart guy, so maybe you can help me with something, or maybe we can actually get the gun back. What do you think would have happened to it?
If they found it,
Right. The guy who pulled the trigger, right? What do you think he did with the gun? What would you guess he would do with the gun?
Like I said, either sell it or get it somewhere else,
if you were us, where would we look for it, you think? If you were us and we wanted to go find a gun, knowing what you know, where would you go to try to find a gun?
If I was the police,
Yeah. Knowing what you know, where would you go?
well, whatever they lay their head at, you get a search warrant and see if it's gun there. If it's not there, if it is there, hey, it's there. But not there, they probably got rid of it.
Okay.
Makes
And
sense.
that's why I wanted to ask you what your opinion was. If you, somebody maybe comments, you know, hey, I'm gonna throw it in the lake, or I'm gonna do this with it, or that's
They
what I'm
always
asking.
come back, they always find it, you know.
Right.
Or somebody out there, or another thing with him and I ran into is, somebody finds it, we find it, or that little child that's out there that doesn't know any better finds it, and then now you've got another
Somebody throws
person.
in trash and then some kid gets it, you know.
That's what we try to avoid, you know, we've been down the roads where people, hey, where's this at, so no little kid gets hurt. Somebody already has died because of this, we don't want somebody else to on that, so that's why I'd asked you about that, if you had any idea where they talked about it.
Right. All right. And I believe it was a mistake, you know what I mean? But he's still gone, you know what I mean? And that's why, like, when I was asking you earlier about them talking about it, you know what I mean? I'm sure they were pretty pissed off, you know, because it happened. You know, did anybody say something like, I didn't mean to do that, or, you know, I didn't do it, you know, you shouldn't have done that, or, you know, why did you do that? Anything like that? Anybody talk like that?
It's a different subject, you know.
Right.
So when I heard about it, I'm like, oh my God. I understand they didn't mean to hurt nobody, but it just happened, you know.
Sure.
They say the man was wrestling somebody at the end, they might stop. You know, like, you have to shoot him.
Right.
He gave you all the money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate you being honest, I really do, and I will tell the prosecutor that you were honest and cooperative.
Is there anything that you want to say, or you want us to tell the prosecutor when we present all the paperwork? Is there something you want to say to the victim's family, anything like that? This is kind of your chance to say, hey, you know, tell them this, or this is what happened, you know, or you don't have to say anything, you know what I mean?
This son, my condolences to the owner. He passed away. And I'm sorry about it. You know, I wish it never happened, you know.
Yeah. Can appreciate that.
I'm sure if you could go back, you wouldn't be going there, would you?
Cause I don't do stuff like that, you know. The reason why I did it because of my car, you know, I had insurance. They car, they ain't had it.
Right. You were clean.
Yes.
For a couple $100, it wasn't worth it. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, 40 bucks they gave you for that thing.
Yeah. Each time, a couple bucks here, a couple bucks there.
But I will hold them over and I will tell them that you were cooperative and honest.
You said what's that?
I'll tell the prosecutor that you were honest, like I told you in the very beginning.
Okay.
When I first sat down, I told you that.
We'll get through it.
My word. You'll get through it, all right?
It'll get worked out.
You did the right thing.
All 4 men were charged with first-degree felony murder, armed robbery, conspiracy to commit armed robbery, and felony firearm. Clinton Grayson was tried separately and convicted first and was sentenced to life without parole. Kenneth Hill, Darius Diaz-Gaskin, and Jamar Robinson were tried together in June 2015. All 3 were found guilty on every count and were sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Our thoughts are with Basil and those who loved him dearly. From everything we've read, there were so many reasons to. Thank you for watching today's video. Whether you're new here or have been with us for a while, check out one of the craziest cases I've ever covered right here, or one of my newest uploads right here.